So at this point I thought that's quite a lot of me talking and kind of theory, but I think it's really helpful, and certainly when I was first learning about social accounting, it was when people shared some real life examples of how it's worked for them in their organisation that it brought it to life for me. So at this point I'd like to see if Matthew would be able to share a few
Sure.
yeah, a few pointers on, maybe tell us a bit about how you got started and why, and then how it sort of has bedded into your organisation.
Yeah.
That's okay, thank you.
How it got started was I was lucky enough to get on a PIA course, basically, that was being run in Cheshire by the County Council back in 2005, and I'd just joined the charity and come from I used to be head postmaster Birmingham, so I came from a job where I had dashboard of, I was used to, that's how this is doing, that's how this is doing, customer service, quality, all of this. And I went into running a charity and thought, how do you know how you're doing? And are we achieving what we say we're about achieving? Some case studies, and I've said to one or two of you in conversation today, case studies are good, but they come with a risk. They can be exploitative, and they can, just the very asking somebody to be a case study, what's that doing always to them? Some people are robust and they love it, and love nothing more than talking a bit about themselves. But for others, it's not a particularly cathartic experience, I don't think. So that was the melting pot of things, really. And I hit upon the social accounts of a Chester Aid to the Homeless. There was a homeless charity in Chester that still exists. And they were a local organisation who'd done social accounts, and I was immediately grabbed by the fact that it was an organisation working with incredibly hard to reach people, and especially if you start talking about surveys. Somebody who was homeless, staying in a shelter in the middle of the city, while you're here, Stan, would you mind just me out I can imagine some of the responses, but they'd overcome that, and found ways of getting people to say how comfy the bed was, how good the grub was, whether they left feeling that they'd had a bit of a step up, and there was a bit more of a prospect of them moving out of that lifestyle. I just thought that was quite compelling, so that's how I got into it. Did you ask me two questions?
Well, I suppose from there, what was the starting point within your organisation, I guess?
Literally, just getting trained up and being part of a little group, because there were 4 organisations in Cheshire that got trained up at the same time, and so we nagged each other and supported each other. But there was some real strength from not being on your own. That definitely gave us confidence and nudged us along, I think, at the time. Looking back, I suppose we were probably quite a nimble organisation. I hadn't really grasped it, but and we got all this and said, "Well, come on then, let's do it." And we did, as I often repeat, we just dived in, and let's write up a survey. And we weren't the sort of folks as a management team or anything to faff about too much, Well, that sounds like it'd be worth asking that, wouldn't it? Yeah, see what that. And literally just knocked out a bit of a survey, chucked it out to everybody, and waited to see what happened, really. And inevitably, elements of it were amazing, and we got some incredibly startling stuff that came back. And some of it was rubbish because people hadn't understood the question, or, you know, we hadn't phrased it right, or whatever it was. Didn't matter. We got a load of stuff that was incredibly informative and sufficient for us to write our first set of social accounts. And in that, I mean, it was quite a clunky, naive start, I suppose, looking back. And it was really only after that that we started to think, and it's changed every year, started to think, what about all the other stuff we had in the filing cabinet? Or all the other things we've done for funders, and all the other data we gathered hither and thither. And it just, year on year on year, we've changed our mindset so that, particularly when I think one of the most embedded things is that where we used to kind of grumble about filling in a feedback for a funder, you know, oh bloody hell, they want all this, they want all that, they want to know the ins and outs in their terms, you know, about what this XYZ project did. And now we catch ourselves, because if we start to sound like we're going down that path, oh no, we can use that. Because 99% of all that stuff you can weave back into your social accounts for your own good. So it kind of takes away a bit of something being a chore, and you start to think, oh, we'll get some use out of this, you know. And I think that's one way, one really good way we've embedded it.
Would you say that, how does the social accounting inform the way you run as an organisation?
Quite early on, it started to have a change on people's behaviours day to day, I think. And does to this day, I think. People know it's a big and important thing in our charity's life. So I think part of that, I'll go back a bit and then I'll go forward. So another big embedding thing is launching it right. So I went to the trustees right at the beginning and I said, gave them that slide that you just shared, you know, and the wheel. And I said, you know, we're going to do this. I really want to do this. And I need you to be enthusiastic. Right from the start, recognise this isn't a one-person job. So if you're sat in this room and your boss has tapped you on the shoulder and said, social accounts, can you do that? Then I think there's a bit of work to be done. You know, it's not an impossible place to move forward from, but I think you've really got to work. So at our social accounts, every year there are about 10 different authors. So if you read our social accounts, this will become self-evident. I'm the editor. I've got 10 authors, so 10 short stories written in different styles. And I try and just sort of blend the edges of that, but it's very evident as you read through, you're moving from one author to another, the style changes. And I've always just left that, because, well, I think that's part of embedding it, is that you've got a lot of people invested in it. A lot of people want to see the first copy off the print, you know, I want to see my bit, yeah? Well, that, compared to just one person wanting to see it, you know, that's quite a driver, I think, year on year on year. I thought I'd come back, but I need to be reminded of what you asked.
I need to remember myself. No, well, I think you've covered a lot of it beautifully.
Yeah.
Question. Yeah, Matthew, how
Has it helped in terms of you bidding for new work?
Oh, just immensely. The credibility that it gives us as a fund bidder is massive.
Wow.
It just says, you know, okay, we publish ours as a nice booklet, you know, and it's got a bit of a thud factor, but it says, this is an organisation that's serious, you know. I can see just flicking through, and I'm guessing probably some do, God, they measure stuff. There's loads of graphs and charts, and they've analysed all this feedback in a way, and they've tried to present a picture of impact that is distinctly different to most charities. So over this last decade or so, I cannot count the number of times that's given us the cutting edge, definitely. And it was definitely the reason why we won in the health and wellbeing sector. There's a big national award, the GSK Impact Award. And to be honest, when we won that in 2015, just changed our charity trajectory, really. I mean, it just put us on a growth spurt and put us on the national stage, really. So I think yes, cash definitely gives us an edge, but also influence in time. It's definitely made us newsworthy and have a bit more cred, I think.
Can I ask a question?
Sorry.
So when we say social accounts, can it begin with one project? Because if an organization has multiple projects, it can be very daunting. Can it be piloted with one project and you're publishing it and then slowly?
Yes. I think it isn't how we began, but it works perfectly if you want to do that. And that's, you know, it's not too resource hungry, but you can do a really quality job with narrow confines. Absolutely. We don't do everything every year. And it's a bit of a freewheeling kind of journey. We do what feels like rising to the top in a particular year. I mean, we do cover all, we've got sort of 4 objectives. And that's such a brilliant part of this process, that actually just write down really clearly what it is that you're trying to achieve with your organisation. Not what you've told the charity commission, if you're a charity, you know, because that has all old-fashioned language about relieving the suffering of something or other, you know, but it's actually what are we in 2019 setting out to do, and we do measure elements and some of the activities in each of those 4 objectives every year, but by no means everything. I think that would be, well, for us, it would be too much. Yeah.
And there may be sceptics on the board of trustees or directors or whatever. So if you start small, and then you can use the evidence of the benefit to actually then get the real buy-in.
Very much so.
Some people sort of feel they give up the will to live when they try and do the whole organisation. It's too big a task with so much to learn and
I think
new processes to put in place.
Particularly really detailed people. You know, people who are driven by detail, people who love a spreadsheet. I think it's really hard work for those folks, because just that type of personality wants everything to be complete, nailed down, you know, and so I'm really acutely aware that my language just sort of talking about, well, it's, you know, and that will be making people in another personality type feel quite uncomfortable. I can't really relate to that. I work alongside a guy, he's my head of operations, he has muscular dystrophy is part of our organisation, and he lives and breathes spreadsheets, and it's that tension between me and him that I think is probably at the heart of our success, actually. And Ben and I, we've been together all through this journey, and we both attend the social audit every year, and I think it is out of that nice tension that we end up doing okay, I think.
Thank you. I'm just, I think we've got about 5